What is the secret to unlocking your full potential? What makes your idols any different than you? How do you become the person you've always wanted to be in life? This is where you get all of your questions answered. My name is Justin Shank, and I sit down with some of the most epic individuals who are changing the world with their actions in business and in life. We discuss how they did it, why they pushed themselves, and more importantly, how they were able to focus on continuous growth to achieve their dreams. Welcome to the Growth Now movement. This week, I sit down with Jet Toh. 2 decades ago, Jet left a promising job as a financial controller in one of the world's premier port owners to become an entrepreneur. In that time, he has achieved many major life goals, not all of them financial. He's made the usual first $1 million of many entrepreneurs, but has also ticked some serious items on his bucket list, like skydiving over the Mojave Desert, diving cageless with sharks in Fiji, and evolving from a shy, introverted man to speaking on stages to an audience of 10,000 plus. Most importantly, he's found the time to be an almost full-time dad. He attributes his success largely to how he was taught to set goals and how he refined that basic system over the years with advice from friends, mentors, and experiences. And in this episode, we talk about that. We talk about how do you set goals? What is the 9 steps to goal mastery that he writes about in his book of Goals and French Fries? I absolutely love this conversation. It's the first time I was able to sit down with somebody from Singapore and talk about his journey into entrepreneurship and how he is now helping people all over the world set goals the right way and then, more importantly, accomplish them. I think you guys are going to love this conversation. Now, before we get there, I want to remind you guys that we are doing a free Growth Now Summit virtual experience. All you have to do is go to growthnowsummit.com. Grab your seat now. It is completely free. The speaker lineup is filling out, and you guys are going to be blown away by the information that we share on how to grow in your business, in your relationships, spiritually, and in wellness. You guys are going to love it. Again, it's growthnowsummit.com. Grab your free seat now. Now, without further ado, let's get to the episode with Jet Toh. Jet, welcome to the show, man.
Hi, Justin. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, our mutual friend, Nick Santanastasso, introduced us. And I always say a friend of Nick is a friend of mine. And I looked into your story, and I'm just really excited to dive into your journey and your realization of and your love of self-development and your success as an entrepreneur, and now your book. And we'll get to the book. But why don't we start with who is Jet today? And then we'll break down how you got there.
Okay. Who is Jet today? So by God's grace, my wife and I, we've been in business for the past 20 years. Yeah, but I'm actually 45 years old right now. Okay, even though some people say I look like 25, 26.
You look very young.
Thank you so much. So 45 right now. Been in business for the past 20 years, and by God's grace, made our first pot of gold, our first $1 million when I was 29 years old. And I got into semi-retirement at the age of 35. And we took our beloved daughter to travel the world. In fact, before she turned 2 years old, she's been to more than 10 countries. And one of the countries she visited, it's your amazing country, United States. And she went there to celebrate her 2nd-year-old birthday. So we flew like 9,700 miles from Singapore over there. And I would say I'm at this comfortable part of my life right now, okay? And that's where I am. So recently also managed to fulfill one of my bucket lists, which is to finally write a book, the first book of my life. And I thought I'm going to leave it behind to my daughter. She's now turning 10 years old. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And so you talk about your success, your first $1 million at 29, which is a huge milestone. And then, being able to semi-retire by 36. What was it about entrepreneurship that you latched onto and were able to create so much success for yourself?
Okay. Actually, for me, right, I would be that kind of like last person that my friends would feel that I will go into entrepreneurship, start my business, etc. Because I grew up being very shy. I grew up being very introverted. I came from a poor family background. My dad used to be a lorry driver, truck driver. My mom used to be a factory operator. And at times she got to work the midnight shift, go to work at the late nights and only come back home early in the morning. Wow. So for me, I always listen to my parents, just study hard, right? Okay. And then get a degree. I didn't think that I would go into entrepreneurship, but there's one defining moment that I wrote in my book as well, which is I believe that for yourself listening in to this amazing podcast by Justin, you would have defining moments in your life that make you to who you are today. And my defining moment was that I went into my superior's office. That was like 20 years ago. So she was doing very well in a corporate career. I was a accountant in the organization. So one day I went into her room because she wanted to see me based on some project work, etc. So I went past the secretary office and I went in to her office after her secretary says she's ready. And I look around her room and I realized that, let's say, for example, if Justin, you're her, and then I'm sitting here facing you. So I observed that at the back, which is the wall facing her, there are three paintings. Initially, I thought there's some kind of famous paintings, and in the end, I realized that it's 3 crayon drawings, and I asked her, what are those crayon drawings over there? And she said they are actually crayon drawings from her children. And she just want to paste it there so that she can remind herself, okay, of her children, thinking of them when she's busy at work. And that kind of like planted a seed in my mind that I don't want to just be climbing the corporate ladder to be very successful in life, but not having time with my family and dear ones. So, and I always believe when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So that's what got me started by attracting the right entrepreneurs and mentors into my life. So that's how I started. Yeah.
I love that. I love the idea of knowing, like, I don't exactly know what I'm going to end up doing, but I know I want to be able to spend time with family and live a life with them instead of working for them so they can live a life without me in it. And so, and I love that thought process. And so was it that moment where you're like, okay, it is now my job to quit this job so I can go build the life that I want? Was that truly the thought process there?
Yes. So from there, I was working very hard in the corporate world. I remember, I always have to get to work early in the morning. I don't even get to see the sunrise. And I leave my workplace late at night, usually at 10, 11 o'clock, sometimes past midnight. Wow. And I don't get to see the sunset as well. So this went on for like almost 2 years of my corporate life. And one day, the projects were completed. Things began to become normal. And there was once I went to the bus stop. Okay, back then I wasn't driving, and I saw the sun set. And I asked myself, do I want to be just stuck in the busyness of climbing the corporate ladder, just pursuing wealth and pursuing power and recognition for the rest of my life? And that's how got me started, by attracting my colleague actually invited me to a business presentation and introduced his mentor to me. And what happened next is that within a short period of 1 month, I decided to quit my job and went full force into entrepreneurship. And that's how I got started. Yes.
I love it. I love it. And so When you talk about, I wanted to attract the right people in my life, what kind of people did you look up to where you were like, that's what I want? Was it just people like your colleague, or was it, the top, like, Tony Robbins? Because I know you mentioned him because that's how you met Nick. How did you begin to find these people and get them into your life?
I see. Very good. Justin, you asked really amazing questions. No wonder your podcast is on top of the list. Okay, right? So what happens is that I'm at a point in time, like I mentioned just now, I chose accounting work. I chose finance work because I was shy. I was introverted. I don't really have to face people. I just have to work with my numbers, my Excel spreadsheet, my financial models. So my colleague introduced a mentor, his mentor to me, a lady in her early 30s at a point in time. And to me, she's very kind, even though that's my first time meeting her. And she taught me about the world of personal development. And she said, can you imagine in life, you're able to not just master the professional skills, be it whether you are engineer, doing engineering or accounting, learning finance or IT, learning technology, all the hard skills and the professional skill sets. And she shared with me this arena, these two words called mastery quotient. Short form is MQ, mastery quotient. And she told me, what about if you happen to have the chance in your life to master leadership, to master the art of public speaking, goal setting, the influence, sales and marketing, how would your life be like? And I start to see myself, being on stages and really mastering public speaking and personal development and sharing with a lot of people out there. Of course, at a point in time, it's just dreaming. Wow, sure. How I wish that can come true. And by God's grace, through the mentor's teachings, managed to be able to speak on stage in front of thousands of people across the world. So I would say the kind of people that I attract in my life at a point in time that I look up to are people who are willing to get out of their comfort zone, are people who are willing to really test the limits of human potential. And that's how I started over there. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. And I love that because, when I look at myself when I was, 18 years old, I was extremely shy. I never thought about speaking. Like, that terrified me. And then I got a job that introduced me to self-development, and same thing. Like, I got introduced to pushing my limits and leadership and understanding the power of the mind and how we can live our best life. And I started to speak at 19 because I worked for a company that I did well. And so they would put me in front of people and I would speak. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with this idea that I have a voice. Now, I was really bad at public speaking for a long time, but I got better as time went on. And now I speak all over I haven't mastered the world yet, but I speak all over the country now, pre-COVID and hopefully post-COVID. And I've been able to share my message. And, you understand that we all have this innate ability to unlock greatness in ourselves. And if you can show that to people, like, it's a really, really cool feeling. And here you are now, you build this great, massive success in business where you could retire and just chill out and relax, but you're drawn to this idea of teaching others this way so they can live their best life. And you've written this book, which first I need to start out by saying, how did you get the name of this book? I love the name. Where did it come from? Of goals and French fries. Where did that name come from?
Okay, very good. So the book, I would say the journey started sometime in 2006, which is about 14 years back. Because that was when I invested like $12,000 to attend a seminar by Mark Victor Hansen, the founder of Chicken Soup for the Soul series that has moved on to sell more than 500 million copies, right? So that's when I met Mark. And he planted a seed in me that I should write my book. Of course, back then, which I mentioned in the book as well, that I feel I was too young. I feel I don't have enough experience, even though I was okay financially many years back. I feel that I didn't have a family yet, so I wouldn't be able to impact many people's lives. So I didn't write the book 14 years ago. Of course, what happens is that I was having lunch with one of my friends, and he was saying that he's going to write a book. And for me, right, I always believe in setting goals because this is a process that I learned from my mentors back almost 2 decades ago. And they taught me this process called 9 steps to goal setting, whereby we improve upon it and it became a 9 steps goal mastery, a trademark process that has already helped more than 20,000 aspiring entrepreneurs
Wow.
impact their lives and achieve their goals. So this method, of course, initially in the beginning, I was telling my friend about this concept, and he said he's going to write a book. And I said, okay, so when are you going to publish it? And that's when he turned around and asked me, so Jet, when are you going to publish your book? And I'm somebody whereby I believe in doing things myself first before I ask people to do it. And that's authenticity. That's really leading by example. I believe 100% into that. So he said, Jet, you got so much of experience and wisdom, learning from a lot of people and improvising some of the things you have learned in your life. Why not just write a book? Because he told me this, for yourself listening in, maybe you're considering writing a book, etc., right? I would say, do it. Why is that so? Because he asked me this question, if my grandfather or my great-grandfather has written a book that's passed on from generation to me, and he asked me, Jet, would you read that book? And I said, of course, yes. I'll be so eager to know my grandfather's story or my great-grandfather's story. And I start to think, if I wrote a book, if you write a book, and this book is passed to your next generation and beyond, it will truly impact their lives and help them not take some of the winding roads that they have to go through. And probably you can through your life experience give them some shortcuts, or I would say help them be able to take better paths in life. So back to the of goals and French fries, I was thinking hard for a title. Initially, I thought of the title just 9 steps goal mastery because it's a proven methodology, especially in this part of the world that I am, the whole of Asia. So instead of using that, I learned that chicken soup for the soul, right? Okay. And I remember when I was very young, my parents, like I mentioned just now, we were very poor. So it's not easy to make ends meet. Most of the meals are taken and cooked at home just to save costs. But once every 1, 2, or even 3 months, my mom and my dad will bring myself and my younger brother to walk about 1 to 2 kilometers, about close to 1.5 miles away, to this restaurant. Okay, now we call it KFC. Back then it was Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah.
To enjoy to enjoy delicious meals. And of course, some of my friends asked me, why don't you call it Of Ghosts and Chicken? Okay, right? And I said, which I wrote in the book, because I watched 2 movies. One of them is The Game Changers. I think it's on Netflix now.
Mm-hmm.
And the other movie I watched is Dominion, whereby the narrator is Joaquin Phoenix. And I got off a meat, okay? So I can't call it Of Ghosts and Chicken. Why French fries? Because at the Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant, when my brother and I enjoy the French fries, we truly can feel the love from our parents that even though they don't have much, but they go all the way to give us whatever that they have. And I tell myself that when I have a family, I want to be able to give whatever I can to my children. So in the book, in fact, the beginning first paragraph of the book, I spoke of my daughter's experience in having her first taste of French fries sometime at the age of 1 year old, but not in a restaurant in Singapore, but many miles away in Australia, in this famous, I would say, fish and chip restaurants called Cizarelos. So she had her first taste of French fries, and there's like a kind of very distinct difference between us having fries and Kentucky and her being able to fly across the world to enjoy her first French fry in a famous restaurant in another part of the world. And all this is possible because of my wife and I applying the 9 steps goal mastery, which is described in the book. Yeah. So that's how, yes.
So that's amazing. I mean, not only, first of all, great, incredible story. And it's amazing how you learned those lessons of your parents and you understood and felt the love, whether there was money or not. And now you're able to show your daughter love, whether there's money or not. And like, that's really cool. You're able to bring her to Australia for French fries, or a second birthday in the United States, where I'm like, if my second birthday was somewhere like Singapore or, Australia or wherever, I'd be blown away. Mine was probably at McDonald's, if I had to be honest, right down the road from my house, but insanely incredible and inspiring. But I want to talk a little bit more about these 9 goal masteries, is that what it is? Nine steps to goal mastery.
Thanks.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Let's go deep a little bit in where did these come from, and what are some of the steps that people may be able to kind of take away from this interview before they even grab your book?
Okay, I feel one of the of course there's a total of 9 steps, and I'll just run through a few major concepts. One of the concepts that I wrote in the book is getting out of that comfort zone. Getting out of that comfort zone, because you realize that in life, okay, to you listeners out there, right? You realize that a lot of times we, including myself, we are all boxed in, okay, in this square comfort zone, that a lot of goals that we have that we want to achieve, but we have not achieved them yet. Say, for example, be it retiring, be it earning their first pot of gold, be it traveling around the world. A lot of times I ask my friends and the audience, okay, on stage, is that all these goals that we want to achieve, but have not achieved them yet, these goals are usually outside of the comfort zone. Outside of the comfort zone. And the only way that we can get even close to the goals that we're aiming for is to climb out of that comfort zone. And I truly have to give credit to Nick Santo, right? Okay. Because when I was in my comfort zone this past couple of years, and I read his story, I heard his story. And for those of you listeners out there, you may not know who is Nick Santo, but please look out for him, because he's truly impacting lives around the world. He was even flown to China to impact a lot of people's lives in this part of the world, in Asia. So he's got one arm, right? Okay, no legs. And what he taught me, which I shared in the book as well, is that he shared his story. That for those of you listening in, you're thinking, "Hey, Jet, hi Justin, I'm worried of getting out of my comfort zone. I don't dare to do things that I feel uncomfortable about." And Nick's story truly struck me, because he mentioned this. I mean, he could be at home by himself and just live in misery because of the situation that he is in. But he said, and he shared these few sentences with me. He said this: "How dare you, Nick?" He was sharing this story to himself. How dare you, Nick? You're mobile, you're still mobile, okay? You could go out there and impact lives. And there are millions of people that are paralyzed and lying on the hospital beds. They can't even get out of bed. They are immobile. They are not mobile at all. How dare you, Nick, not go out there, get out of your comfort zone to impact more people's lives?
Mm.
And that set me to write this sentence for myself. How dare you, Jet, being so selfish, being so comfortable, and not reach out there, okay? Get out of your comfort zone to truly do the things that can let your light shine and impact more people's lives out there. So that truly struck me. And if I were you, okay, listening to this amazing podcast by Justin, is this: write down this word, this sentence, how dare you, and you put your name, okay, and you continue that sentence. How dare you, right, not go out there and speak to more prospects and customers out there, okay, such that you can impact more people's lives. How dare you, right, your name, okay, just wallow in misery and not just get out because you are in a situation that's far better, way better than a lot of people's lives out there. So truly thankful to Nick, and that got me out of my comfort zone to be now speaking to you in a podcast, and that's truly amazing. Second thing that I learned, okay, from him is this, okay, that a lot of times we tell ourselves we have to do this, I have to do this, you have to get up early, you have to go to work, right? Okay, I have to get out at 5 a.m. I have to talk to my customers. I have to get to work. I have to dial in at another webinar, at another Zoom call with my boss, with my superior again. So what I learned from him is that instead of saying have to, I want to, you know, change the word to get to.
Mm.
I get to wake up early. I get to be listening in to this amazing podcast by Justin. I get to be able to participate in personal development programs. I get to be able to speak to my customers. I get to be able to touch people's lives. And, Justin, I believe, amazing country, and over here in Asia, similar situation as well. A lot of people, I would say, are truly looking to hear words of inspiration from yourself, Justin, and from the amazing guests that you're inviting to your podcast. And to those of you listening in to this amazing podcast, reach out there using your products and services, because there are many out there in such pandemic times. They are just praying for you to call them, praying for you to reach out to them, such that their lives can be much better through the business that you're offering, through the products and services that you're offering. So in the book, I mentioned about the attitude of gratitude. And with gratitude, a lot of things can be much better in life, because anger can never coincide with gratitude. Disappointment can never coincide with gratitude. And stress and worry can never coincide with gratitude. And if you're listening in right now, definitely we got something to be grateful for. At least we got this mobile phone or computer and Wi-Fi or 4G or 5G network that we can dial in. While a lot of people in this world, I heard, is close to 700 million people that don't even have access to even clean water. So truly grateful to Nick. And this is one of the core messages that I put in the book, which is getting out of the comfort zone. Thanks, Justin.
No, I love it. That was incredible. And I mean, and it's so true. Like, to be able to get out of your comfort zone and realize the gifts that we have versus sitting and wallowing in our sorrow, which so many people are at this time with COVID, and, acting like it's the end for their business or their relationship or whatever. So that's such a key thing. And I hope people now are jotting down that line, how dare I? Because I think, that's something that I really took into my life when I launched this podcast at a rough time in my life. But I go, how dare I not share this story? How dare I not share this message? How selfish am I not to try and impact some people around the world? And I've been fortunate that over time, it has impacted people around the world. And it's been a great journey. And it was that line of like, how dare I? How dare I not? And so I think that was beautiful, man. So thank you so much for sharing that. When I hear your story and everything that you're doing, I'd love to know what you do to get out of your comfort zone. What are some things you've done in those moments of complacency where you're like, okay, I need to push myself out of my comfort zone? What have you done?
I in one of the steps of this 9 steps goal mastery, I talk about having the right community. I talk about having the right mentor. And I shared that, this book is not just about setting goals, making money, achieving success in life, because we will realize that there's a lot of people on earth that are achieving a lot of things in life, and they're very successful. Many of them are multi-millionaires, etc. And many of my peers are wealthy and very successful by most standards, but a significant number of them have paid heavy prices for their success. Some are divorced or complain of unfulfilling marriages. Some have very challenging relationships with their teens who wind up in real trouble. Some cannot make it through a day without the aid of alcohol or some drug. Some are in the worst shape of their lives with regards to health and fitness. And we have heard about those with the most material possessions, right? Okay, that we can only dream of, be it Marilyn Monroe, Master Chef, Anthony Bourdain, and even designer of this handbag called Kate Spade, right? Okay. They end their lives. And of course, recently we hear of Tony Xia of Zappos, right? Okay, a big story here in this part of the world, in Asia as well. Is that I realized that, which I mentioned in the book, a lot of truly successful people, they set their goals in order of priority. And in the book, I talk about we should go out there and set goals. The first priority, that the kind of goals that we should set, is really in the area of spiritual, our faith. And second, family. Third, health. Fourth, wealth. Fifth, legacy. And last but not least, fun and adventure. I mean, we still want fun and adventure on this earth, right? Yeah. So how do I get myself out of my comfort zone? I don't believe in setting small goals, because small goals do not make you feel alive. So some of my friends say, okay, Jet, is this just another book whereby they teach you how to set SMART, SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based? I say definitely not, right? Okay. And right, so many goal-setting books out there that say, okay, step by step, etc. And in the book I mentioned, A in SMART, it stands for alive. Do you have goals that make you feel alive? You see, like Justin, I see you being so enthusiastic. I see you being so genuine in this podcast. Even though this is my first time chatting with you, I can feel that gratitude, that sincerity, that you truly believe that your podcast, your guest that comes on board your show, right, will be able to touch people's lives around the world in different areas of their life. And I can feel that even though we're like 9,000 miles apart, right? Yeah. And that's when I believe you have set that goal that is not small, that is big, that, okay, millions of people out there will start to hear of your message through your podcast with all the guests from around the world. And I just give you, I'll do my very best to introduce the top people in Asia to come on board your podcast such that more lives can be impacted. So set goals that make you feel alive, right? Set goals are not realistic. Set goals that are radical. I mean, one of the entrepreneurs in the United States that I truly respect and admire is Elon Musk, right? He didn't set goals that are small, etc. He could live comfortably after selling off his shares and exit PayPal, right? Instead, he said, okay, I want to set up two companies, Tesla and SpaceX. And he invested all his money, right, okay, into this grand goal of bringing human beings, you and I, to Mars one day. I mean, that's a huge goal. Huge. And it would take a lifetime or probably the next lifetime to even achieve it. So to get you out of your comfort zone, very important thing is this: don't aim to just survive. A lot of people, in fact, in these pandemic times, they are just thinking, how can I survive? How can I just be above the sea level and start to breathe a little bit? Don't do that, because it doesn't make us feel alive. It doesn't give us the right energy. So how do you get out of a comfort zone? In terms of different areas of my life, I set radical goals. Say, for example, in health and fitness, which is very important, because with energy, right, you'll be able to go out there and accomplish more things in life. Like right now, I'm speaking with Justin. It's 6:38 a.m. in the morning. Most people are not even awake in this part of the world, right? I set a goal at the age of 44 years old, which is last year, to complete the Spartan obstacle race, the Spartan Beast obstacle race, which is a 21 kilometers race, like half a marathon distance with 30 over obstacles. And I aim to complete it in less than 4 hours. And just 1.5 years back, okay, which is about 2 years ago, I wasn't running, I wasn't exercising, I wasn't doing much. I was just getting comfortable with my life. So I set that radical goal, which makes me feel a bit nervous, because if I don't train for it, I could probably just pass out during that 21 kilometers obstacle course. Yeah. So when I set that big radical goal, the right community starts to get attracted to me. And I met the captain of the largest Spartan group in Singapore, Team Reebok Spartans. We got connected, and through him, I met some other very amazing sportsmen. And last year, I even started to hire a running coach, to get me to increase my pace from last time not doing very well in my running, and I don't like to run, to now being able to complete my 5 kilometers in less than 30 minutes time, which is about less than 6 minutes pace. So set goals that are big, set goals that are radical, and that's the best way to get you out of your comfort zone. Like what Tony Robbins, someone that I respect a lot, is that there are no lazy people on earth. There are only people with impotent goals that are not potent enough. So that's one way to get out of a comfort zone. Set goals that make you feel a little bit afraid, sometimes quite afraid, quite nervous, but still that tinge of excitement that makes you want to go out there and achieve it. Yeah. So
love it. And look, if you've heard the last 30 minutes with Jet and you're not ready to buy this book, you're crazy. Like, you're crazy. The information has been great. I'm going to buy the book. That way I can get it and read it and relay it back to, reach back out to you and tell you how much I enjoyed it, man, because this information has been phenomenal. Now, I wrap up every single interview with the same question, but before we get there, how do people get a hold of you? How do they get the book? Where do they go to get all this great information?
Okay, right. Maybe if it's all right with you, Justin, I can just post the link on how to get the book with you. Would that be all right?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Actually, just www.9stepsmastery.com / soft launch international, which is a bit long. All right. Okay. So probably I can just pass the link to you and see whether you can put it somewhere in the podcast. Would that be all right?
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
We'll put it in the show notes. We'll make sure everybody can just click it and go get the book.
Yep. Yes. Yep. Thank you so much. And of course, some of you want to reach out to me on social media. I have a Facebook page, right? Okay, that I'm getting out of my comfort zone. Okay, because I'm, I would say a lot of people know me in my industry, but on social media, I've been pretty reserved because I just want to keep it within my family. But right now, I know that I need to share my stories out there. So I'm getting more comfortable with social media. So you can reach me on Jet Toh Official, okay, on Facebook. So just JETTOH Official on Facebook. Yeah. Thank you
Awesome.
so
We'll
much.
make sure we'll link that up in the show notes to you guys. You can guys go follow him, because just hearing this talk, man, you're gonna blow up along with Nick, and you're gonna be speaking in America while he's speaking over in China, and we're just gonna be passing you guys back and forth. And so I'm excited to see where this book takes you. As somebody who clearly has done the work in the self-development space, and really stepping out of your comfort zone and into the man that you were born to be. I'm excited to watch the trajectory. Now, like I said, I wrap up every single interview with the same question. And since the podcast is called The Growth Now Movement, this is the question. In your life, what has been your biggest moment of growth?
Very good question. Biggest moment of growth. I remember that incident which happened to me about 2 decades ago. Like I mentioned in this podcast, I was very shy. I was very introverted. And one day I was with my mentors. My mentor, he was teaching on stage, this small stage with about 30 of us, business people. I was sitting there, and suddenly he just pointed out to me and he said, Jet, your energy is not high enough. How are you going to, live through life like that? Because probably I was feeling down at a point in time. I was 20 over years old, I think 26 at that point in time. And he said, Jet, you come out on stage. And he brought along a chair. And he asked me to stand on that chair, on the stage. And after that, he continues to teach and continues to share his lesson, while I remain standing there on the chair, on the stage, continuing to listen to his story. I mean, there's two thoughts in my mind at that point in time. One thought of it, which is not so positive, is that why would you humiliate me in front of all these people out there? Why would you humiliate me in front of all these people out there? And there's this thought that say, just walk out of the room, Jet. Just walk out of the room and just go back, get a job, life would be still comfortable, etc. And another thought of me came. He must have done that for a reason. Things must have happened for a reason, and the result will ultimately benefit me. And I continue to stand on that stage. My energy wasn't high. I definitely wasn't speaking on stage in front of tens of thousands of people yet. But I tell myself, I better work hard at improving myself in terms of my energy level, in terms of getting out of comfort zone. And because I make that decision to still remain standing on that stage for the next 30 to 45 minutes or so, that gave me an impact in my life. And through the next 1 to 2 years, I truly grew to the next level. So as shared in the book as well, in life, if you can find one person that can truly be tough on you, that help you get out of your comfort zone and make you do the things you are supposed to do, you are the most fortunate and blessed person on this earth. Thank you so much, Justin, for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, Jet, this conversation has been phenomenal. So thank you so much for sharing your life lessons with my audience. And hopefully we'll stay connected. We'll have you back on the show in the future. But this was phenomenal. Make sure you guys go grab his book of Goals and French Fries. We'll post up the link and everything like that right in the show notes so you guys can go grab it there. But Jet, thank you again so much. This was phenomenal. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the Growth Now movement. This is how you can really help me out. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please share it out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff. And let's grow this movement to epic heights. And it's all going to be because of you guys. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next week.